Well, hello and good morning. Welcome to another Sunday morning coffee with Dr. Childress. Today I'm going to be discussing cruelty, and I've been a witness to the cruelty inflicted on targeted parents for over a decade now in the family courts. It's appalling and deeply disturbing, and I just wanted to comment on it because it's been in the family courts for quite a while, and it really, really, really needs to stop from the mental health professionals. Now, I know the ex spouse is immensely cruel towards the targeted parent. The disturbing quality is that the mental health professionals are so cruel to the to people to people, just ordinary people. The mental health professionals would be this cruel to people. The targeted parents is appalling. So I just want to address that today and put it on the table, that's what's going on in the family courts. So to address the concept of evil or the cruelty in the family courts, the absence of empathy is the capacity for cruelty. And I'll cite to Simon Baron Cohen did a wonderful workup of the science of evil, where he actually looked at the brain networks involved in the on empathy and the origins of cruelty. And that's essentially the issue. The absence of empathy is a capacity for cruelty. Now, uh, there's only three disorders that have the absence of empathy as a symptom feature: narcissistic personality pathology, psychopathic personality pathology, and autism. Okay, now we're going to take autism off the table because I don't think the mental health people or the allied parent have autism. So we're in the scope of, with that symptom, with cruelty, and with the absence of empathy, that symptom is a symptom feature of narcissistic or psychopathic personality pathology. Now, that's expected over in the allied parent because that's a dark spectrum personality, dark triad, vulnerable dark triad, and dark tetrad, which is in the constellation of narcissistic borderline psychopathic pathology. Dark triad is it's all subclinical for the dark personalities, but it's narcissistic personality pathology, psychopathic personality pathology, and Machiavellian levels of manipulation. For the vulnerable dark triad, that's your borderline variant. That's the vulnerable narcissism, factor two psychopathy, which is the highly manipulative component, and borderline personality traits. Now, if you add sadism to the dark triad, you get narcissistic, psychopathic, manipulative, and sadistic. That's the dark tetrad. Okay. And so the dark triad and the dark tetrad and these dark personalities are some of the most dangerous human beings on the planet. So I understand the pathology with the allied parent and why they're cruel and why uh, it's the source of evil that's going on in the family courts. What I find appalling is that we have mental health professionals who are that cruel. You're taking somebody's child away from them. Okay. I don't care if you think they deserve it because they're not sufficiently sensitive to the child or whatever your reasoning is. But no, they don't. No one deserves cruelty. I have worked child abuse. I have worked with physically abusive parents. I have worked with neglectful, substance abusing parents. I have worked with the psychologically abusive parents, narcissistic, severely. They don't deserve cruelty. Okay, they are damaged people. and we need to get them the support they need so that they can become a better person and better parent for their child. They don't deserve cruelty. Even when we removed a child from a parent because of physical abuse or because they're a meth addicted parent or something, even when we removed, we would still work towards reunification to improve that parent, to get rid of their difficulties so we could restore the attachment bond. It's just phenomenal what happens in the family courts. I'm doing document reviews for years of just cruel destruction of families. No empathy whatsoever from the mental health professionals. And when you don't take somebody's child away from them unless there's an authentic child protection response. So you better, as a mental health professional, you better document what the child protection response is. Then protect the child. But if there's no protective reason, if that targeted parent isn't abusing their child in some way, then it is immensely cruel to take their child away. And so that just needs to stop. The mental health people need to step up to the plate and start accurately diagnosing the pathology in the family court. And so I want to point out that the level of cruelty that's involved in the family courts is evil. It's like in the literature. Simon Baron Cohen, the absence of empathy is a capacity for cruelty, and it works it out. It's the science of evil. You don't believe me? Let's take a look at the research literature. This is from Book, Visser, and Volk, who talked about unpacking evil, claiming the core of the dark triad. That's in the journal Personality and Individual Differences. This is not the family court pathology. This is personality disorder literature here in there. And they're calling the dark triad the core of evil. Then the book Visser and colleagues went on to say, unpacking more evil. What is the core of the dark tetrad? Again, in personality differences. What we're dealing with in the family courts is an activated narcissistic personality who got rejected as a spouse and is using the child as a weapon of spousal abuse. Or we have a borderline spectrum parent who is collapsing into abandonment fears and using the child as a regulatory object. Okay? And with the darks, we also have sadism involved, narcissistic, psychopathic, manipulative, and sadistic. And we have those parents in the family courts. They are the allied parents, and nobody is doing anything about it, which is deeply, deeply disturbing. And so I've watched the cruelty to the targeted parents over a decade now from the mental health professionals. The cruelty that disturbs me is from the mental health professionals, their absence of empathy. Are they artistic? No. So they're either narcissistic or psychopathic, because that's the only thing that produces this level of absence of empathy in the mental health professionals. Okay, so that's deeply disturbing that we have pathological mental health people in the family courts, or just lazy, incompetent, um, just violating ethical standards off the board, and cruel. I'm sorry, they are cruel. If you're going to take somebody's child away, minors councils and GALs and reunification therapists and forensic custody evaluation, if you justify taking somebody's child away, you're participating with that dark personality. You are part of the evil of their personality if you are participating in their abuse of the targeted parent. It's deeply disturbing to me as a psychologist that the mental health professionals are that cruel to people, just to anybody, to people. Okay. And that it's allowed in the family courts is astonishing. and that the APA doesn't do something to get higher quality services into the family courts, that the licensing boards don't protect their citizens from this level of cruel abuse by the mental health professionals in the family courts is astonishing and deeply, deeply disturbing. If you parents, targeted parents, I know. Okay. I know what's happening to you. I understand your grief. I have normal range empathy. I have very vicarious trauma for what you've been going through for the last decade. And right now, as new parents enter the situation, you're trying to figure this out. It is, I understand. I understand what's going on. For those of you who belong to some sort of faith community, I suggest you turn to your spiritual advisors, seek some pastoral counseling, something like that, and see if you can activate your pastors and your spiritual community into addressing the evil. This is good and evil. It's that clear, and it's in the literature. It's Simon Baron Cohen. The science of evil, the absence of empathy and capacity for cruelty. It's in the book and colleagues. It's the core of evil. Dark personalities in the family courts. Are they being assessed? No. Are they being diagnosed? No. Are they being stopped? No. We need to get this taken care of. This has been going on way too long. This level of vicious cruelty to the targeted parents. The absence of empathy is absolutely deeply disturbing. So, with that, I'm going to wrap up my Sunday coffee for today on the issue of cruelty. Empathy is a good thing. Empathy is compassion. The narcissistic value system is that it's okay to be cruel to people if they deserve it. Okay, so then they go around and decide who deserves their cruelty. No, the authentic value system is we're not nice to other people because of who they are. We're nice because of who we are. Okay, that's our empathy. That's our good qualities, our better angels. And so the idea that there's justified rejection, if there's child abuse, if there's physical abuse, sexual abuse, if you got a drug addicted parent, there's a child protection response. But that's not that they deserve the cruelty. They deserve to lose their child because they're an inadequate person. That's just cruel to anybody. Okay, we don't treat people with autism or cognitive delays or any of the difficulty. Well, you deserve suffering because you're not like perfect. You're inadequate as a person. That's not what we do. That's not who we are. Okay, so that value system that people deserve cruelty, that's the spousal abuse one. Yeah, of course I hit her. She deserved it. My dinner was cold. That's the narcissistic value system. So if you hear that from any one of the mental health people, that somehow you deserve it because of your inadequacy, or these parents deserve it because of that is a pathological mental health person who has an absence of empathy. Narcissistic, psychopathic, autistic, figure out which one it is. I'm going to say they're not autistic, they're a mental health professional. So figure it out. Are they either narcissistic absence of empathy or psychopathic absence of empathy? So with that, I'm going to end my coffee talk for today and head off to my Sunday.